Good gray. Good gray. Good gray array. Liaised. Mind mazed. Imagination aid. So phrased.
One of my own ilk. You see, it's a comfort because at least you understand what it means that my watch is broken. At least I have the confidence that I'm with another professional, decent person. Have you confidence in me to lend me your watch until tomorrow?
Mind made. This contagious ache contains activation. You are the renovation of love's imagination. Good gray. Good gray. Good gray. Mind may be game, in fact, to play. Mind may, in fact, be game today. Radio science brain is going to help calm the mind, attempting to face the fascism and the threat of Project 2025. How do we maintain executive function? This is a postulation. You are the renovation. You are more than a brain. You are the mind's elation. Perpendicular trains, permeant new substration. This is the access point. A germane braid, ideation made, mindness as parade. This is how wax white, this is how found finds, this is how mound mines, this is how plows ply. Radiation became radio science brain. Imagination aim, mind made. Yes, I'm updating the substrate, how I'm getting a charge I'm just now negotiating, how not to be jacketed straight away in the middle of the game of music I claim and call by name. Radio science brain became today. Imagination aid, mind made. this contagious ache. It is saying your name, radio, science, brain. In fact, thus, it is something like this. Radiation always one way. Mind made from a speck to all sphere through all dark materials and atmospheres. It is the pulse through all times dear. It is kindness clear. It is mindness near. Beware. Yes, it is called radio science brain. It might be a chronicle, it might be bionicle, it might be a monocle. It is kind of chronicle, like it's chronic and all. Not chronic ill, not chronic kill. This is chronic will. This is chronic stills, as in is still of something, not makes still. Endless stillness holds building, holds fortress of gilding. What is this? What is it that we're milling, we're building, we're containing? Or fulfilling? Radio science brain. Against the fomenting of lynch mob brain energy, of terroristic, terrible things yelled, degrading, defiling things said about other people, and in tactic done to harm, to break down executive function. Because we are dealing with a reality that we remain up to date with a constant news bulletin. This is broken news. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. The State of the Union is Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. And that is not sound. We're talking about stalkers, conspirators, cheaters, murderers. And insurrectionists. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. That news again. Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. This is Tim at the Mystery Font. And as stated, because of a state of affairs that full of gravity, full of immense weight, mass, indeed. And a permuting hokum that can be well described as massive distortions in the field of reality. And essentially living within a military-grade Darvo campaign, we see a classic and active red flag. We have an active red flag of fascism flapping about, and an alarm that should be going off and sending roots to the source of what is good. We have a harbinger of fascism in the massive campaigns against human kindness, campaigns against wokeness, campaigns against DEI, finding essentially Charlie Kirk or Stephen Miller, who is known as M, or Steve Bannon, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, or indeed Donald Trump, using defiling, dehumanizing language, shocking boundary violations, all meant to terrorize, to break down executive function. Amidst that, we are called, amidst a soup of denial, attack, and reversing the victim and offender, Darvo. Darvonald lives in Darvo land, and it is not true that it's dishonesty or vanity within a person which causes a con. Con artists allow the mark to put themselves on the hook. Con artists allow the mark to put themselves on the hook. Con artists allow the mark to put themselves on the hook. Such as when Donald Trump put the hook right there for Hillary and Chris Matthews to lay down on. And anyone in the building or in contact by phone or communications to simply lay down on the prong of that hook, not recognizing what it was. Because when in a debate, a presidential candidate says, "I'll keep you in suspense about whether or not I'll honor elections or a peaceful transfer of power," the trap door opens. And whether it's real or metaphorical, it's real. In that you're asked, is that your final answer? You have tripped one of the fuses that democracy uses. Are you leaving the stage now under your own power? Are you apologizing and making clear what you meant? Because in 2 minutes, a conversation is going to begin with you and the Secret Service. you're using language in a democratic debate for president of a powerful nation, and you are trying to shake our hand and turn it. That's not even Canada. Get off the fucking stage. If not said literally, then metaphorically and actually said clearly. A boundary of steel that says, no, you won't construct a scenario wherein we put the noose around our neck. Oh, you'll keep us in suspense? Oh, that it sounds fair. What self-respecting person? Here, let me just use that $100 bill in your wallet for a trick. Oh, you'll give it back to me though. You're not going to rip it up. Well, I'll keep you in suspense. Yoink. What? What does one do in terms of coercing a mind to accept submitting to someone? What does a mind do to other minds? To place themselves as an object heading for home, an object heading for the ship we're on together. How does someone decide that something about reality is unacceptable to them, and that what changes reality to the right thing is to set themselves on a course for where the world will be in 5 months or 7 months, and announce randomly that you will be passing through there at that date, in the same pass where only one of us can fit. Darvo is used by Donald Trump in the way such that his reality of what he believes he deserves, it's like how he's talked about Paris Hilton, pardon me, that as a 12-year-old, he remembers seeing her at the first time, walking in the room and talking about, with clearly a lascivious kind of assumption to, it's normal to speak this way and to like apprehend a young girl this way, that, oh wow, she's really hot, was essentially the vibe. There is a permuting I claim anything, then that if I see something and the world would say, well, that you might like that coat she has on, you might think that you like the way her smile makes you feel, that's all really swell. But this idea you're having that she's yours, that's a reality distortion. But Donald Trump, I think, claims that territory. I think that he decides the things and people and honors that belong to him, or hears when honors are bestowed upon someone else that they've been taken from him. Essentially, he has decided that he owns the entire fucking world. And so it's essentially about staying out of the path of his desire, which is what he's trained us to do. Because he will attack even loyal election workers with a Skeksis dripping black ink from his brow. Because he's decided, I already belong to owning you. I belong to owning whatever I want. I belong to I have absolute authority, is what his every word says. And how does Darvo work with that? In that he's already denied whatever the world has said through existence. That person over there, they already love me and want me in their bed. They're already squatters in their homes, and I'm going to take that land. They're already on my land. I see something, I like it, I'll have what they're having. It's mine now. And amidst the projects and trying to outrun accountability, I think quite clearly that's what it looks like inside the mind of maybe a dark triad predator who would essay someone because they contradict, in some sense, however slight, the idea that they're not owned by him. But again, we're trained to not rock the boat of whatever Donald believes he deserves. And it's really about wherever his attention goes and retribution. But we have been trained. And it's time to recognize where there's truly insidious grooming going on. And that is with M and Trump and Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. There's a bandwidth of super toxicity. And I think it's time to cancel cancer culture. We don't have to accept cancer culture. Cancer culture definitely causes cancer. Definitely. That news again, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller remain at large. Well, I think we have it sorted now. I think we have it sorted such that I can choose and sing with a version of music for radio, science, brain. Good gray. Good gray. Mind may be game. Imagination may be game to play. Not the same, but the maid, that's you. You are contained. Radio science brain, waking wax out of wane, perfection capsulate. Mindless made actuate, this is the kindness come. Let's net this imagination, part of this part of fun. Fun is how we know we're on to something wonderful.
the sun. Radio science brain, waking wax out of wane. Imagination may begin to play. Permeant, this is the aspect obvious. Waking wax out of wane, I think I'm waking to proclaim. Mindness made activation to aid. Imagination made this contagious ache clarion aiming to aid. Imagination made imagination aid. Imagination made imagination aid. The mind made this parade. Kindness came just in case. Kindness came activate. Time and place contain this may be game to play. The mind may be game to play. Imagination may be game to play. If you are game, radio science brain, waking wax out of wane, pretend that love is sane, relay as if love is germane. The mindness made aim to aid, mind capable active, it's natural sapient. This is the kind mind active cadence. We made hence, we came and we've taken them from glints of shine. Imagination foster shine. Imagine foster shine. Imagine foster shine. Contain this alive. Radio science brain, rely on your mind. Be actual, be bored in time and flourish. Be finding mindfulness. Construct this. Imagination capable. This gift contagious lift. Radio science brain program in this game. Mind may pretend that love is sane today. Pretend that love is sane. Radio science brain. Mind made aim into aid. Imagination made. Radio science brain, waking wax out of wane. Particle matter say germane. Mind made this kind caved in.
Imagination Aid Campaign. Pretend that love's campaign knows your name, it's the truth proclaim. Radio Science Brain relay how it's sake we contain safe. Those lyrics should have been transmitted live as well, so hopefully you were able to sing along and improvise as well. And you need not read that feed. You need not to think of it as a collaboration in order to do whatever you're doing, whether or not you're singing or permuting or somehow diluting this. That was one pass through a piece that's been going on for 13 years, 14 years or so. Good gray, just about that, just about that. Remember Scoop Troop? As we spoke of before, Darvo is in play. Darvonald lives in Darvo land. Remember, it's handy once in a while, even if only mentally, to just slap it over the view screen and say, am I seeing this in use? Is Darvo being applied to me today? Am I having a flip performed, purported, papoosed? What is happening? And that was not meant to carry, papoose was not meant to, I'm just improvising that, it's not meant to carry connotation of ethnicity or anything. Unloosed, at any rate. Caboosed. So this is this. It's called Radio Science Brain, and this chronicle does contain chronicle of the things that are a threat to our potential, not merely just halcyon proclamation, clarion of our potential, also what, given that, is in our way, such as right now, Donald Trump and Project 2025 are in the way of humanity's safety. And we need to help them to mental health care and accountability. Imagine someone convincing a population after an insurrection that they didn't need an opportunity to hear him in a debate with primary contestants, if only to be able to explain himself, to be able to explain why he essentially tried to have 2 Georgia election workers killed. Was it Georgia or was it New York? Ruby Freeman and Shamos. That they and others have sustained real, ongoing terroristic threat to livelihood, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness from someone who is ostensibly trying to lead us. I have a question. How and when is a quid pro quo acceptable? How and when are we all right with a quid pro quo? I ask that, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm already thinking about. But in case it's not coming to mind, because I'm sure we've all looked this up recently. In terms of someone, whether or not in this case it's illegal, I would think it is. Just in terms of a good definition. What is a quid pro quo? A favor or advantage granted or expected in return for something. Example given, the pardon was a quid pro quo for their help in releasing hostages. Is not Donald Trump's promise to release legitimately incarcerated treasonous criminals who he calls hostages, and the promise of a pardon for that, isn't that the material of which a quid pro quo is made, a promise of exchange for that really should be forbidden, that he should not, that no one should be able to buy their way into an office by making a deal with their conspirators in a previous effort to destroy that entity. Is that not exactly what we're looking at? Are we not looking at Donald Trump fleecing us here? Is this not super obvious? Is it not really clear that we're letting ourselves be taken advantage of grievously? How badly do we have to be disrespected? How much shit can he defecate on us before we say we don't like the weather? Actually, something needs to change. We don't want to be in an abusive relationship with the president or former president of the United States. Isn't promising to release prisoners who sowed a coup, who did violently attack, isn't promising to release them and calling them hostages not only inappropriate and a quid pro quo, but also a confession of intent, of mens rea? Is this not a clear indication that he has decided that he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants with this country and everybody here? Isn't that what we're looking at? Aren't we looking at a maniac working with another maniac, working with another maniac, and other maniacs? But people who can calmly bring up critiques and immediately hear again and again and again Trump derangement syndrome as if cogent critique is derangement. See immediately, or hopefully pretty clearly, quickly, that we are dealing with someone who is grooming his followers to consider any slight challenge as deranged threat. Trigger loaded and prompted to supplicate and pay tribute in keeping up the spirit of dehumanization and falsehood and tribalist mendacity. And if all of the horrible things that, I mean, the problem is that the lying doesn't stop. And he continues to prey upon us in a way that doesn't seem human, because once it's clear that you're lying, obviously it has to stop. But he has a constant generator of the ability to tell total falsehoods to get through that meeting as someone still on stage. We are dealing with permuting hokum meant to infuriate and confuse. But the news remains that the Darvo field of Donald Trump, Roger Stone, and Stephen Miller are collectively and as one at large. It's clear that he is telling us by singing with prisoners and calling them hostages, people who violently attacked our country, hoodwinked by him or no, they joined a white supremacist, patriarchal terrorist force of people, some smashing their way in, some walking in all cases, against not only protocols of that building, but the peaceful transfer of power. You don't do that. Take hours to call it to a close, to say, hey, you're doing wrong here. Let's pull it up. Okay. Okay, so we have I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great.
Today we're going to see how
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace.
Well, that was the statement from the president released via Twitter. Congressman Cheney, I think you're still with me. I mean, here you are. You're on lockdown. Was that good enough for you? He's telling folks.
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it.
His staff had prepared a script for him to read, but he refused to use it. As you can see on the screen, you can see the script is stamped "President has seen." The script said, quote, "I'm asking you to leave the capital region now and go home in a peaceful way." The president was urged to stick to this script, but he spoke off the cuff. Eric Hirschman and Nick Luna went with the president to film the message in the Rose Garden. Let's hear what they had to say and see the never-before-seen raw footage of the president recording this video message.
Ultimately, these remarks that we're looking at here in Exhibit 25 were not the remarks that the president delivered in the Rose Garden. Do you know why the president decided not to use these?
I don't know, sir. No, I do not know why.
Did the president use any written remarks to your knowledge, or did he just go off the cuff?
To my knowledge, it was off the cuff, sir.
Good, Chase?
Yep.
When you're ready, sir.
Yep, you're right behind me.
You tell me when.
When you're ready, sir.
Who's behind me?
He's gone around.
Clear.
We're all clear now.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had a election. Let me see. I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us,
from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
When I got there, basically the president just had finished filming the video, and I think he was basically retiring for the day.
Was there any discussion about the president releasing a second video that day?
Not that I recall. When he finished his video, I think everyone was like, day's over. People were pretty drained.
Were pretty what?
Drained.
But we say day over. I mean, there were still people in the Capitol at that point, weren't there?
There were people in the Capitol, but I believe by this stage, law enforcement, and I'd have to go back and look, but I believe law enforcement was either there or moving in or going to take charge. I just tell you, people were emotionally drained by the time that videotape was done.
Emotionally drained? At the White House? Here's what was happening at the same time at the Capitol. We warned the audience that this clip also contains strong language and violence.
Oh, keep pushing, don't lose the momentum. Another officer unconscious. The terrorist.
Yeah, it's it's interesting to see to think that any shot of an officer who's successfully been able to de-escalate people who have invaded the building, that there could be anything that would take away the titanic gravity of an attack that we all saw. And another officer unconscious, like if you can hear that and think, oh, it wasn't a big deal, let alone to know what actually went down. And that if Antifa or Black Lives Matter were there doing harm, why are they not on camera and under arrest? Because ostensibly most of the people there were true believers in MAGA, if not all of them. But for some journalists, I don't really know that there's really much evidence of any presence other than Trump supporters. Like, it's pretty clear. Where is there any evidence of anything but people making conjecture? I mean, even in telling people to go home, I think it's the next day, and the next day or two that he actually says what was done was wrong. But pretty quickly after that, it changes back to him saying he did nothing wrong, and to calling seditious prisoners who attacked our country hostages. Political hostages, knowing, just like he knew he lost the election, knowing that they're criminals and knowing that it's his act that he pulled them into that created their crime and created their sentences. But is that not a pivotal and important quid pro quo that should make us stop. That we should actually just absolutely stop. Stay taking another step forward with him on any ballots. He is attacking us. He is coming back as an attack. You don't attack a country and make a bullshit apology, then unapologize and say you did nothing wrong. Sing a song with the people you attacked with. Promise to pardon them if you come back in. Keep saying I did nothing wrong. Keep saying I was cheated, I won. That's how you tell people I'm coming back to finish the coup. And when something called Project 2025 tells you it exists, that means they're confident, which means they're seeing the submission that they want to see, to believe they can bulldoze the rest of America to sleep or to death. The bulldozer of anti-wokeness, of finding new ways to say the other F word, or to say the N word, or to call women terrible names, like the brown shirts are like M, Stephen Miller, or Steve Bannon. The brown shirts are using bigoted language, finding any opportunity to use new corrupted words that they co-opt. But people using woke and DEI as a slur are Nazis. If you are using DEI as a slur, you probably are supporting the Nazis, or are feeling fear that makes that seem attractive. And you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to let yourself be terrified. You don't have to submit to a violent man who won't leave. We are the reality distortion fielding, and we can perceive the falsehood. Who is the falsehood?
We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. The falsehood will demonize your sensitivity. The falsehood will claim the press is our enemy. To cry fake news, then preempt remedy. to question just believe. Falsehood can rob you of the joys of words. Receive. We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. Falsehood will tell you so. Falsehood will tell you it's the one and only. We are the reality distortion field. We are the reality distortion field. The falsehood soak down intuition holds we are the reality distortion fieldings.
It's true. We are the reality distortion fieldings. Good gray array. Liaised mind may be game to play today. If someone looks into a camera and tells you they could shoot you in the street, knowing you're going to look into that view screen, they're saying that to you. Abusers are good at knowing how not to leave a mark, how to juke moments, to enforce adherence to accepting abuse. Donald knows how to grab someone that he's decided he belongs part of, or he owns part of already. He has already denied and is in the process of attacking what he is attacking to reverse victim and offender. Cuff your fleecing. Mr. Trump, cuff your fleecing. You don't deserve to be called president because you broke your watch. We don't have to search for you. We don't have to search for you, warlock or whatever. Don't disrespect witches or warlocks or Wiccans. Don't disrespect decent beings by associating with yourself, others. It's not a witch hunt we're on. And again, we haven't had to search. You left a trail of breadcrumbs. This is a watch hunt. Donald Trump took an oath to be the one who presides, and then quite clearly he betrayed that. He abandoned the watch. He failed to keep the lookout. In fact, looking out for how to cheat us. So what happened to the watch that he shat on January 6th? Abandoning his duty to America by deciding he would attack America, by deciding he would cheat, by deciding he would attack, by deciding he would not lift a finger to change unfolding events that he set in motion. This is a watch hunt. Where the fuck is the watch, sir? What happened to the watch? What happened to the watch you tried to steal? It's rightfully in the hands of the person who won the election. But are you at all cognizant, Mr. Trump, of what the hunt is for? The hunt is for the person who betrayed their oath and betrayed this country by betraying the watch. To be the president means to watch. You preside over. You watch over. You asked for the watch. You asked for the watch.
One of my own ilk. You see, it's a comfort because at least you understand what it means that my watch is broken.
Yes.
At least I have the confidence that I'm with another professional, decent person. Have you confidence in me? To lend me your watch until tomorrow?
Who is the falsehood? Who possibly could it be? And Mr. Trump, this is a watch hunt. Do you have any idea, as precursor to your being allowed anywhere near what happened to your watch?
One of my own ilk. You see, it's a comfort because at least you understand what it means that my watch is broken.